What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for March 4th, 2023. Quick correction from yesterday. I had mentioned that Marilyn Stevens coaches at my high school, Coatesville. I'm not sure. She may well coach, but she's only a teacher, and apparently a pretty darn good one, too, from what I hear. So, just like I always say, I want to make sure I'm giving you the straight facts. Flyers did make some trades. I'm not sure. I got to figure it out and kind of dig through it. They did get some draft picks. They unloaded some guys. However, James Van Riemsdyk, who's expected to walk in free agency at the end of the year, is still there. And I know a lot of Flyers fans were upset about that. And like I said, I think they played too well for that stretch now to even get into the draft pick conversation, because I believe there's only like 15, 20 games left in their season. But hopefully next year's a new year. Some discouraging news out of Phillies camp. Andrew Painter had some elbow soreness, so I didn't hear any details on it, but he's getting that checked out. So that's definitely something worth monitoring, because usually guys that throw that fast end up having to have some type of Tommy John surgery at some point in their career. So we will keep you posted on that. Eagles news, I saw some people, and I just, because it's been 22, 23 years now, never really thought, but apparently the way they announced their ticket price increases for season ticket holders is not the way other people do it. And I don't think anything of it. I just get the invoice and I go to open it, and it's kind of like a big suspenseful moment. Like, were they going to charge me this year? But tickets prices did go up. No announcement, but I guess that's what happens when you go to the Super Bowl. Maybe they can take some of that money and pay Jalen Hurts, though, so he doesn't have to take a pay cut to help the team. But anyway, enough about that. And big news, Sixers play the Bucks this afternoon. Very, very excited about that game. Again, one of those good measuring stick games. We'll see how they come out. Milwaukee's been white hot. They've won like 17 in a row. Sixers not so much, which I feel like it's kind of setting itself up, especially the way the Sixers have been playing and the way they tend to bounce back a lot of times and step up some. Joe always seems to play well against the Bucks too, so I look for them to possibly pull the upset today. But should be a good game either way. But let's go back on this day, February. I'm still stuck in February for some reason. March 4th, 1944, and before I go into this, give you a little history of the Phillies name. They were established in 1883. They were originally, yet unofficially, known as the Quakers before they became the Phillies. But on this date, in order to, and I'm going to, if you're watching this, you'll see it, but if you're not, I'm giving the air quotes, to cleanse the franchise of the stench of 4 or 5 straight 100-loss seasons from 1938 to 1942, as well as the lifetime ban of owner William Cox, who was convicted of betting or found to be betting on the Phillies. Hopefully he was taking them to lose, or else he would have been not only a bad gambler, or bad owner, but a bad gambler as well. I wonder if the two things are related. He's the owner of the team. They're terrible. He's betting on them. Maybe something I'm going to check and look into. But new owner Bob Carpenter, who the Carpenter family is very, very big in the Phillies history from that point into the 80s, decided to choose the Blue Jays because it was a contest. They ran a contest, and that was the name that won. The name never actually took off. I guess because people still had known them as the Phillies. I don't know. I know at one point too they tried to shorten it to just the Phils, and I know we nickname them that now, but that never took off. They just were the Phillies. But they went so far. There's like the jerseys for a few seasons were blue. Everybody knows, obviously, the Phillies have the red and the pinstripes, but they were blue with the blue Phillies script on it, like they have now. But on the sleeve, there was actually a picture of a Blue Jay. But again, it never took off. They became eventually back to being known as the Phillies. But on this day in 1944, the Phillies attempted to change their name to the Blue Jays. It never took off. And I don't know if they ever officially changed it because, again, they had the Phillies on their jersey, but they were, who knows? But they were trying to get rid of that stench, but they weren't a great team anyway. I mean, for about a 10 to 15-year period, they were a 90 to 100 loss team. And I really do, now that I'm kind of talking through this, I really want to go back in now and look and see if William Cox, the owner, was actually betting on them to lose, and he was purposely building a team that was shitty because once the Carpenters came in, all of a sudden, 1950, they make a run to the World Series. So we might have to get our investigative hats on for this. But on this day, in 1944, they tried to change their name to the Blue Jays. All right. So today's Philly Sports Women's History Spotlight, we're going to take a look at Yolanda Laney. And she led University City High School to 3 Public League championships. She was a Public League Player of the Year in 1977 and 78. She was a high school All-American. And she also was the Kodak All-American team when she was in college at Cheney State, which is now Cheney University. And ironically enough, she was on that same All-American team with Marilyn Stevens, who we talked about yesterday. And you might know this other lady who was on the All-American team with them. She's probably the best Miller basketball player. But Cheryl Miller was also on that same All-American team with Yolanda Laney and Marilyn Stevens. Even Reggie Miller says that Cheryl was better than him. But there you go. So at Cheney State, they went to 4 Final Eights. I guess back then it wasn't the Elite Eight in the women's tournament. 2 Final Fours, and took them to the 1982 final, the first time Cheney State had ever gone to the final. She did play for a year and a half, roughly 2 years over in Europe, but she wanted to give back and by coaching. So after she came back, she coached in... We talked about the Philadelphia Developmental Basketball League a couple times during Black History Month, where it gives girls the chance to hone their skills. It's like basically a summer league for girls in the city. So she would teach skills and just some games and everything there. So she really dove in while she was getting her law degree, which I thought was really cool. She got her law degree at Temple. And she actually coached AAU. She taught females like Dawn Staley. So Dawn Staley actually credits Yolanda Laney a lot for a lot of her development. Her daughter, Benesia, played at Rutgers and is now in the WNBA. Yolanda currently is in Atlantic City. I believe is a public defender, but she works in the city government. With her law degree and everything. She's a Philadelphia Sports Hall of Famer, one of the best to ever do it, and we've done 2 of them back to back. So shout out to Yolanda Laney for just not only her impact in basketball, but just being an inspiration to a lot of those girls with her coaching. Like I said, Dawn Staley had nothing but glowing things to say about her, and now she's still giving back to the community as the public defender in Atlantic City. So shout out to you, Miss Yolanda Laney. Remember the time the Phillies, back in 1944, tried to change their name to the Blue Jays? Yep, that happened today. Go Sixers. I'm very much looking forward to that. I don't know why. I feel like they might be able to pull that off today. At least I'm going to be betting the Sixers plus the 5.5. So if you want a little bit of betting action today, there you go. Sixers plus the 5.5. I think it's going to be a close game either way. But go have yourselves a Saturday. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.